What's up, Junkie Nation? Gorgeous George and Goes are back. Today we're going to talk to a young fella named Baris Adiguzel, who's coming off a huge win over Alex Bertinazzi at Cage Warriors 162. All it took was 16 seconds, and he got the job done a few weeks ago. He's now 4-1 as a professional fighter. Hello, Baris. How are you?
Hi, everything's good. Everything's good. And you? Everything's good?
Well, kind of. We like Manchester United in soccer, and we just watched Champions League about 15 minutes ago, and they lost. So no good for me right now.
Okay, okay. I'm not a big big football fan, but I understand.
You live in France, you're from Turkey. There's so many great teams like Galatasaray and
Yeah.
PSG. None of those teams, you don't like them?
No, I'm more Fenerbahce. I'm not a big fan of
Fenerbahce, yeah.
Galatasaray. But
Okay.
when I start MMA, I really stopped football, everything.
Yeah.
I get a lot of injury, everything. So I want to get back in football, maybe playing, in the weekend, something like this. But I'm really scared to play again in football,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I don't really have time to watch everything. Follow all the league, Champions League. It's not easy to follow everything.
hmm Are you a full-time fighter or do you have a job?
My job is to be a coach. I'm a coach and fighter in the same time in my young age.
Yeah.
I'm doing both, but yeah, I'm in sport. I'm doing MMA all day,
Yeah.
so I'm training in the morning, training in the afternoon, in night, giving lesson. In MMA, and yeah, I'm doing this all time. Yeah,
How old are you?
I'm only 24.
Okay. Could we say that maybe the last few years of Bellator and the UFC coming to France has helped your career, more coaches, more training partners? I France has many great athletes. I anticipate that in the future France is going to produce a lot of world champions.
Yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure. Where are you at?
No, you're good. Right.
I just don't see you.
You're there.
Yeah, I mean, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. The first UFC when he come in France, that was crazy because when I was giving lesson, after the first UFC, like maybe 20% more I have in my lessons.
Wow.
So that was like big up for the MMA in France. So yeah, yeah, I can say it for sure that Bellator, PFL right now, UFC coming in France, it's big difference in the MMA.
I know for many years it wasn't sanctioned. I don't think it was illegal, but it just wasn't sanctioned. You
Yeah,
couldn't have fights. So
no, it
was
was
it
illegal.
difficult to
It was
find training?
illegal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah,
So
it was illegal.
was it hard to train MMA? Like did you have to go kind of undercover a little bit?
Like that was not illegal to train, but it was illegal to fight in France.
Right.
So when I start fighting when it was illegal, so I fight in other country. So my first to fight was in other country because it was illegal to fight in France. I have a lot of friends who fight everywhere in the world because it was forbidden fight in
Okay.
MMA. So and
Where would you
like 2 years ago, the MMA was legalized in France.
Yeah.
So for sure that go up the MMA in fame and everything because all the media start talking about this, about
Right.
MMA. So it was big difference.
Was it big what Francis Ngannou did a few weekends ago in Saudi Arabia as when he fought Tyson Fury? Was that big news in France?
Yes and no, because he's no more living in France, so we don't hear too much.
That's
But
true.
what he did in boxing, maybe that opened a lot of doors for the MMA fighters.
Yeah.
For me, that's for sure.
That's true. I guess it's been about 5 years that he's been living in Vegas now and no longer in
Yeah.
France. How about this? Where would you say that you got these skills to fight? More from your mom's side or more from your dad's side? Where do these genetics come from?
I think both
Yeah.
for sure because my yeah, when I grew up in Turkey, so when I was in Turkey, that's not like Dagestan everything, but yeah, for sure, my uncle, trained me a lot was fighting a lot, with all the cousins all day. So yeah, for me mentally, you grow up a lot. So in the mother side and father side, it's the same. We grow up like this, fighting every time. It's in our blood.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bears, tell us a little bit about this knockout because a lot of times fighters will say they're happy that the fight ended the way it did, but they kind of wish it lasted a little bit longer because you put so much into your training and all that. How did you feel after? And then even, maybe a couple days removed, was the feeling a little different?
That was a lot of preparation for 16 seconds of fight. That I prepare like for I lose my last fight. I just before this win, it was in Cage Warrior in May. So just after my fights, like after my lose, 4 days after, I was injured on my calf, but I start training directly. So it was more than 5 months of preparation for 16 seconds of fight. I was not disappointed because I worked hard for this win. That was not a chance, that was not something, that was really, really hard work, a lot of hard work. And I was thinking about this win, all day for 5 months. Every day, every morning, I was thinking, about this green thing is gonna put in everywhere. I was thinking about this every day. So when I win, first time when he get down, I look at him and I say, yeah, it's over. So for you don't realize it in 5 seconds after when the referee come and put the hands like this, you say, yeah, it's finished. So you start, yeah, and I start going crazy. I'm not gonna lie, I jump everywhere. That was crazy moment. I'm not gonna lie.
So performance like that, a lot of times they go viral,
Yeah,
throughout the world. And it's kind of like almost a little bit of a negotiation advantage that you have right now. When people pull something off like this, they get to say a little bit more about what they want to do next versus a promotion telling them you have to do this. So I guess the question for you is, what would you like your next step to be?
I was thinking, about taking the Cage Warriors division, moving down in the bantamweight because I'm a little bit small in the featherweight division and I can make 61 pretty easily. So that was my first move, but after some negotiation, everything, probably my next fight will not be there. You know, so I'm not gonna lie, I'm small for now. Maybe this win is a big win, but I'm small. I'm only 5 fights. I'm 24. I have a lot of to prove. You know, so I'm not gonna say like, yeah, I have too much move like negotiation. No, no, no. I have win. I have to win. I have to put more knockouts. I have to show everyone that I can make maybe big fights like fight of the night, everything's like this. So when my first move is going to be in the international, everyone is gonna talk about me. My first fight in international, everyone is going to say that, yeah, this dude is good. This kid is not bad.
If we have this same conversation next year
Yeah,
at the same time,
yeah.
what do you think we would be talking about at that point?
If I can stay active, I can fight every 3 months. For sure, I am going to be maybe one of the in a really big organization. I don't know where I would like to be in the UFC. I'm not gonna lie. I don't wanna put, I don't wanna do like 20 fights before going to the UFC. I want to win, 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 and go to the UFC like pretty fastly. And I really believe that I can do really good things in the UFC. So when I just talk about this, I'm really excited. So I really hope that I can make good wins in my next fights, and in the next year, when we are gonna talk, I will be like a little bit more famous, a little bit more. I will have a little bit more money too. It's important. And yeah, that's it.
In 1 year,
Yeah.
I would like to see you be your 4-1, 3 more fights in 2024, That would put you at 7-1, and maybe around this time, Dana White Contender Series. How does that sound?
I hear about the Dana White series, contender series. I don't know, when you are young, like 24 years old, you have you can do big fights. Like me, I know that I have power in my hands. I have a big chin. I can put big performance in a cage. I'm not scared to exchange with my punches. So I don't really believe that you have to maybe do directly contender series. Maybe waiting to do two more fights, two more good wins, maybe two more good knockouts, and going directly in the UFC. So I don't really know what I will do in the 24 the next year. Maybe I can lose. I we don't know. So I'm not gonna lie, it's not the first choice. So, but it's the manager thing. If my manager say that it's the best choice, I will do it for sure.
Well, it's interesting because I understand what you mean. It'd be nice to just go straight to the UFC,
Yeah.
but what happens is you're gonna have to always be ready. Your weight's gonna always be ready, and you're probably gonna have to come in last minute. So if
Yeah.
you're okay with that, maybe there's an opportunity for you. But Dana White Contender Series is getting pretty big. It's on ESPN now, and it's on a Tuesday. A lot of people watch, and they highlight the fighters pretty good. You have an advantage in that you speak English. There's a lot of fighters that are foreigners that don't even speak the language. But the fact that you can speak the language, you got some really nice finishes on your resume. That's kind of what Dana White likes, and you just got to fight your ass off that night, win or lose. He has taken a few guys that have lost, but of course you want to win.
Mm,
But it's not a bad option. But I understand what you mean. It'd be easier to just go straight to the UFC.
yeah. But like I said, it's not my. I'm not thinking about this right now. I'm really focused about, maybe I just talk something, is not right, to not going straight, to not go to the contenders, big performance, and going to the UFC. Maybe it's a really good choice too. And I have to talk this about, my manager, Mason, So I'm a fighter, so I'm really focused about fighting, and all the things with around fighting, all the media things, manager things. I don't really want to think about this. I really want to be focused in my training, in my fighting, trying to improve my skills. Every time, every day, trying to be better, a better fighter, more complete fighter. So it's my main thing. Right now, young, um, trying to win my next fight, and not only win, win like a good way, not just like coming here and just putting a little bit, easy performance, win and go home, trying to win but a really good way, that's important for me.
Whereas, what about the other options in the sense of it's the same sport, it's MMA, but like in the PFL, they do season format, right?
Yeah.
Something where you have to fight, every 30 days. Would
Mhm.
something like that, does that interest you? Do you like being really, really active, or do you like having a little bit of space in between your fights?
It's good. It's a good question. I want to be active, but not too much too. It's good to rest a little bit, because it's a really hard sport. It's not an easy sport. We get injured a lot of time in training. Every day you wake up. You don't really know if you are gonna get your nose broke, your arm broke, maybe your knees gonna be fucked up. We don't really know what's gonna happen in your training day. So fighting every month, like you said, it's really difficult. So I don't really know. I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know. It's
Well,
not easy
we
for me.
will definitely keep in touch with you, and congrats on the most recent win. We'll see how 2024 plays out.
Yeah.
Perhaps one day we'll meet in Vegas, just like I said, under that scenario, or for PFL.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the future of Bellator is, but it's nice to meet you. I
Yeah.
do want to ask you one last thing though before we leave. You got to be honest with me, Baris. This is
Tell me.
this is a man-to-man question. have you and your cousins ever gone to a Fenerbahce game and gotten in a fight before the game or after the game or during the game? Come on, be honest.
I was a kid when I go to see football games. When I was
Mm,
living in Turkey, I was like I was born there, and I come in France when I was 11. So that I
yeah.
was pretty young. But I saw a lot of match because I play a lot of football when I was kid, and I
Mhm.
saw a lot of fights in when where I was living in. I was living in Izmir. So that was not a lot of big match, but I saw some soccer match, and it was pretty good, and a lot of fights too in the fights in the match.
All right. All right. Just curious. Well, thanks for the time, and we'll talk to
Thank
you
you,
soon.
bro.
Take care, Baris.
Yeah, take care. Thank you.